Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with cruiserweight David Jamieson. He is 9 wins, 2 defeats, and he is his nickname is the Real Deal.
That's it.
And my first question for you is, how did you first get into boxing?
Right, now good question. I was a bit later to the party than everybody else. I think I started when I was about 15 years old. And it was really just, I was 15, I was a wee bit overweight. I was getting a wee bit of trouble in high school, stuff like that. And I knew I had to do something about it. I knew I had to start maybe going to the gym. I didn't play football, which is predominantly the big sport up here in Scotland. I was rubbish at football. And I'd always liked watching like MMA and things like that. So I started going to an MMA class. And we very quickly realised that I was better with my hands than I was with my feet. And from that, I ended up going to the local boxing gym and just totally get the bug for it. And I just couldn't leave it alone.
So did you have an amateur gym, didn't you?
Yeah,
So who was
yeah.
what was your like amateur records?
I think I had 57 or 58 fights, and I can't remember. I'd need to look at my medical cards, but I had more wins than losses. But I didn't have like a massively impressive amateur record. I think I maybe had like, I don't know, was it like 18 losses, 20 losses, something like that. But I just stuck it out. It was like the whole test of character thing. You know, you were getting bad decisions, you were getting beat, but I just kept going back, and here we are today.
Yes. So did you win like I don't know, did you win anything as an amateur?
Yeah, yep. So I won a couple of national titles, a couple of Scottish titles, and a couple of Western Districts, which is like a smaller area title up here in Scotland. And then I was trying to get to the Commonwealth Games, and I get beat in the final eliminators for a position in that.
Ah, okay. So you were, I would say you're a good amateur then, decent amateur.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yep, decent amateur. The only thing that I would say was you'll maybe hear fighters talk about this, but I've always had more of a professional style. I've always stayed inside maybe a bit too long for the amateurs. I like going to the body. I was never into that whole sort of point scoring thing and then getting away. You know, the sort of fencing that they do in the amateurs. I never did that. I've always planted my feet and exchanged punches. Whereas if you look at a lot of the guys that go on to do really well, like world level amateurs, you know, Commonwealths, Olympics, things like that, they're very good at the hit and not get hit. Whereas I maybe took too many.
Mm. So do you think that's something you can like improve on?
Definitely, yeah. I think, but even there, I've had comments in my last fight. For anybody that's followed my career, I'm that sort of. I've always said this in interviews: value for money boxing, and I need to get away from that because it is. It's like so people having a fight outside the chip shop. Whereas I showed in my last fight that I can box a bit more. My defence was much better than what I've shown previously.
You were
Obviously,
winning that fight, mate, I thought.
yeah, no, it was all going to plan. That was the game plan. Take Mikel deep, do enough work to the body, just keep draining him every round, and then really try and force the stoppage into the late rounds. But obviously, with my jaw, it just
Yeah.
shows you how big a puncher he is.
Yes, that was unfortunate for you, mate. But
Yeah.
how much? What did you get? What, a week's notice for a British title fight? So
It was running about 10 days, just under the 2 week mark. I'd saw it on Instagram. I'd saw something along the lines of Dion Juma had pulled out and things. And I get in touch with my manager and I said, look, you know, get in touch with him and see if they're needing a replacement. And that was
were
it.
you? Because were you in the gym still?
Yeah. I hadn't sort of blown up in weight. Don't get me wrong. Nothing like a sort of training camp. You could see that in the shape that I was in just physically on the night. I was maybe carrying a wee bit here and things like that. But I was still fit. I was able to do the rounds, and I was willing to get down there and try and win it.
Yes, mate. And I'm sure that British title you'll still be looking at, looking to win it in the new year because you're still in this British title picture.
Yeah, no, well, I think my manager Sam Kynock, he's petitioning the board because of the nature of the way that the fight ended, obviously due to the broken jaw, and I think people could see that I was starting to come on very strong as the fight went on and was in with a chance of winning it. He's petitioning them for a rematch. Whether
Oh,
that comes about or whether or not, I'm not fussed, but it'd be good to get back on Sky in the new year. You know, a couple of international opponents, good level lads, and see where we can go after that.
I mean, that would be good if you got the rematch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I showed, and it comes down to that, the whole, what if we had a proper 10-week training camp instead of 10 days notice? I mean, I think I could go down there and potentially stop Mikhail.
Yeah, I believe you could as well, mate.
Nice one.
Because you fought how many weeks before? Because you fought that Jake Darnell, didn't you?
Yeah, fought Jake, and then there was like a sort of an exhibition come up with a big heavyweight lad up here, and it was just a move about, really, to be honest. Big Kasim Salim just in there. One of his opponents had pulled out. The show was having to go ahead, and I said, "Look, I'll step in and do an exhibition just to make sure that the show went ahead."
So
So
you still
that
got a few good rounds under your belt for that, though.
yeah, that was the thing. I mean, I was match conditioned. You were still used to boxing in front of a crowd and things like that. It wasn't like I hadn't been. I'd still kept my toe in the water, as they say.
Yeah, mate. And when you fought Jake Darnell, didn't you beat it? Was it round one?
Yeah, first round. Yeah, caught my nice overhand right. And he didn't go down, but if the ropes weren't there, he'd have went down, and the referee jumped in and stopped it.
Do you believe that you could fight at heavyweight?
It's a funny one, that, and I know what you mean, because I do. I'm a big cruiserweight. I do cut to the cruiserweight limit. I've always said no. I've sparred with heavyweights over the years, and you do. I'm a big fan of the whole Bridger weight scenario. There's a big jump. You know, we're like 14 stone 4, and anything above that's heavyweight. So you can be, say for example, I walk about at like maybe 15 stone, 15 and a half stone,
So
and
you
I'm a big
walk
guy.
around at heavyweight.
Yeah, definitely. But there's a big difference between 15 and a half stone and 18 and a half stone. Like me, I'm maybe 6'1". Some of these guys are 6'7" and 18 stone, so it's a big jump.
Mm. But so you're happy at cruiserweight.
Yeah, that's my weight. That's the weight that I'll win titles at, I'd reckon.
You never know. Sky might get you another fight on the TV. Well, hopefully, maybe Vidal Riley, maybe the rematch. You just never know because they've got a few cruiserweights.
Yeah, it seems to be the sort of Premier Division in Britain, I would say. But they've got Vidal Riley there. He was at ringside. I watched Chris Billham-Smith. He was doing really well the other week. He's pressing on to a sort of world level.
Tommy
It does,
McCarthy,
yeah, there's
Isaac
lots of good fights.
Chamberlain. Yeah.
There are lots of good fights here, and I think I proved that even in the short notice that I belong at that level now. I mean, you can put me in with any of these guys, and if you give me a proper camp, I can possibly go in here and beat them.
Weren't you on Boxer because you were in the tournament and you fought Miguel? Was that
Yeah,
Boxer as well?
yeah, it was indeed. Yeah, that was just as they were starting out. Boxer, they were running the Ultimate Boxer tournaments similar to the prize fighters, and it was the 3 minute rounds. I think that was about 4 years ago, something like that.
So do you think that like the shorter rounds aren't really your kind of?
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you just there, about the whole amateur thing. I've always had more of a professional style. I definitely come on stronger in the later rounds. I'm a fit guy, even when I'm not. What they are,
Yeah.
I didn't have a proper camp behind me, but you could see that I'm able to force the pace. That's my style of fighting. I'm a pressure fighter.
So as you broke your jaw, is it on the mend now?
Yeah, there's a titanium plate in the back side of it. I've literally just maybe this week got back onto sort of solid foods. Don't get me wrong, I can feel it's still very tender, if you see what I mean. But they did say, I mean, it's going to be like maybe 8 to 10 weeks before it's properly solid again. But no, it's on the mend. That's me finished, like painkillers, antibiotics, all that sort of stuff.
That's
You
good.
can feel the stitches inside the gum all sort of dissolving up. So no, we're heading in the right direction.
So when can we expect you back in the ring? March, April?
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm aiming for. I'd like to be back in the ring for March. I believe the Josh Taylor card has been moved. Is it the 7th or the 8th of March? It's like the end of the first week.
4.
I'd like to be on that.
That would be epic if you were on that card, mate. That would be, again, I think that might be on Sky.
Yeah. No, that'll be on Sky. And
I'm sure Sky will get you back on because you made such a good counter of yourself on the last show, nearly beating their. I think he was he's their fighter, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's their golden boy. So yeah, the Ben Shalom said that. He said he was very impressed, all that sort of stuff. So I think if he's true to his word, they're going to give me a good crack on Sky again next year.
I'm sure they will, mate. Have you been training at all, like just like a light training, or?
Yeah, do you know, I was in the gym on Saturday last week, and basically just doing like some seated weights. No, I can't do no skipping, no hitting bags, nothing with like vibration. But I went into the gym and I was just sort of throwing some weights about, just doing a wee bit, just to basically keep my mind right. You know, us fighters, we need to be training all the time, so it just felt good to go to the gym and do a bit.
Yes, mate. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what fight do you think you've performed your best in?
I think possibly that last one there, despite, I mean, I won the IBO international title in February in Turnberry, and I boxed a boy called Samuel Janjarov, and I just went hell for leather.
That fight.
Yeah, I went hell for leather. I showed him how fit I am, and hit him with the kitchen sink, and I couldn't get the guy out of there, albeit an exciting fight. But I didn't really show the levels to my boxing and my skill set. Whereas there, despite me not having the full camp and things, I think I showed a more disciplined approach. My defence was better. I was a bit more measured. I used my jab properly, things like that. I think the last one with Mikel there was probably my best performance.
Yes. What about because you were meant to fight Dex Spellman. Why did that get called off, cancelled?
Yeah, I get bitten by a dog. I was bitten by a dog in my left hand, and had to get a course of antibiotics, punctured the back of my hand and punctured my wrist in my left hand. And I think that was only maybe something like 6 days or something before the fight.
So the fight's never been talked about ever since?
No, I believe he went on and boxed Ellis Zorro, didn't he?
Oh yeah, that was a nip and tuck fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Great fight.
Was there.
Oh, were you there? Were you at the York Hall? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another fight that's been spoke about. In fact, even Ellis and myself have actually spoke about it on Instagram, on social media.
That'd be a good fight, you v Zorro, because he likes a good fight as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. I no disrespect to Ellis, but they were very keen for the fight, I believe. But I don't think the guys down there will be as keen to fight me now off the back of the performance the other week. I think they'll realise that it's not as easy a fight. Because
he's BT Sport, so you don't. Do you mind what platform? Because if you get offered to go on BT, you're still boxing on TV.
Oh, of course, yeah. No. Get guys like myself coming up, fighting on small ball shows and stuff like that. When the big guys come in, it doesn't really matter who it is. We're not tied to any platform. We're not tied to like a broadcaster. So no, just any take all comers. Yes.
Have you still got your belt, the IBO International?
Yeah, still got that. Yep.
So will you defend that?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're looking to do next.
Yes. So how many fights do you want to have next year? You want to be in these 12 rounds now, don't you?
Yeah, I think I proved there that it's big time television boxing. If it's 10 rounds, 12 rounds for titles, definitely. Yeah, that's where I'm looking to go. I said it in previous interviews. I mean, I've been doing it a long time now, Sam. I don't really need the sort of the warm-up fights and stuff like that. I get decent enough sparring, and I know what I need to do to get myself into a good place. So
Yeah, even
it's just
with your comeback fight, I reckon you could still fight someone like Riley, someone like Zorro, because I still think that you're there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's even in my head, a lot of guys need a comeback fight off the back of a loss, and it's almost as a mental thing. Get a win under your belt and start feeling good about yourself. I'm quite strong mentally that way. I'm not.
When you fought Jake Darnell, because you got a big win before that, was that just to stay busy?
That was just my manager getting me out and just keeping me in the water. Yep.
Yeah. Is that because you just wanted to be active?
That was it. Yeah, that was basically it. Just making sure that I was still in the ring, keeping me active on box rec, all that sort of stuff.
Yes. Well, that's good. And my final question for you is, do you have any advice for someone who wants to be a boxer?
Well, first off, if they're any good at football, don't come into a boxing gym. But no, just work hard, stay true to yourself. Don't cut any corners. If you want to do it 100%. If you're wanting to come in and train a couple of days a week and then go away with your pals and things like that, it's not the sport for you. You need to be completely committed and dedicated to it. And then you'll reap all the rewards. If you stay true to yourself and you work hard, everything will come right. It might take time. It might not be right away. You might not start winning all the gold medals right away. But if you just keep chapping on, and at some point it will all come right for you.
Yes. And sorry, do you want to shout out like your manager, sponsors, just anyone?
Yeah, no, listen, shout out all my team, shout out Steph McCrainer, Jerry Higgins, my coach, my wife Michaela, she'll like that. My manager Sam Kynock. No, listen, a great team round about me. And despite this sort of broken jaw and the loss, I think we're going to really capitalise on the momentum in 2023. So roll on.
And yes, thank you for your time, mate. And I can't wait to see you back in that ring.
Listen, Sam, brilliant. I know it took us a wee while to get me on. I've just been that bloody busy, but I hope you'll have me back on and just let me know. Have a good Christmas. Have a good Christmas and Happy New Year, and I'll hopefully speak to you very soon.
We'll get you back on with that British title in the new year.
I like the sound of that, mate. Yep, let's do it.
Mate. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Good speaking to you, Sam. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.